was always interested in film, and specifically the effects, visual effects part of film. My parents were both artists, so obviously there was no way out. Career path chosen.
How did you know what you wanted to do? Like, you had an idea of what you wanted to do, but how did you know that was the real thing?
I don't think you ever know. I think you do something long enough and you commit yourself long enough to trying and trial and error and making lots and lots of projects, and it accumulates. It's a snowball. It builds up a weird momentum in your life. Maybe just a happenstance of meeting the right people at the right times and opening the right kinds of doors kind of guided me to this place. I don't know.
Well, the thing that's interesting about what we do as compared to like a lot of other occupational paths is that anytime you're engaged in the creative economy, which is a term that we use to talk about anybody that's trying to make a living off of creative occupations, whether it's tattoo artists, it doesn't matter who it is, it's, you know, that kind of thing. If you were going to go be a banker, for example, there's a prescribed path to being a banker. That's a well-established path to being a banker that you would go to school for and all those things. It's very different when you're in the creative economy. It's a very organic process. So to answer your question, I think with accuracy, I'd have to say that when you pursue a creative occupation, there is very much an organic flow that happens to that because there is no prescribed path. There are possible destinations, right? But no prescribed path. You never know what, you know, or how people are going to engage or move, because Star Wars, there was a point when there was no Star Wars. And there was a landscape that existed, a social, popular landscape that existed up to that point. And then that film came out, and everything changed. It was that summer, 1976, 1977, those 2 summers, invented the blockbuster. And you know what blockbuster means?
Yeah.
Lines that go around the block. That's what that means. People waiting in lines. That had never happened in the history of film ever before that, where people were literally standing in line sometimes for days to get in to see Star Wars or Jaws or whatever was the thing. It was and so you never know. There could be a film that's being made right now. There could be a video game that's being made right now that when it comes out, everybody's going to go completely freaking nuts about.
What advice do you have for us at this point in our lives, just starting to get into school? We're just starting to discover what really drives us and what could potentially make us want to do this our whole lives, like do whatever we find for the rest of our lives.
I started college early because I didn't know what. I was anthro major, then I became an English major. Just like to read and write, and I had no idea that I would end up here.
It's possible you don't know yet for sure what path you want to follow, so dabble. And it's also possible that there might be a path that you're going to create that doesn't exist yet. Like, for example, you might realize a year from now that you love working with a CNC plasma cutter. You said like 1/2-inch plate steel is your thing. You never know. But you still want to do, let's say, costuming. There might be this weird hybrid of CNC metal pieces that it's your own thing, and you're going to have to learn then a whole 2 different skill sets and figure out how to go like this.
I always liked to work with texts, meaning like written texts, but I didn't know at that time that these things around us, these are texts too. What do? You wear something and it is telling a story. Where I am now, I get to produce a lot of texts, written ones. Sometimes I blog or I write essays. A lot of times I'm making individualized texts for people to wear. Sometimes I'm producing shows.
What I can guarantee you is that whatever you pursue, the likelihood is, it's just like, have you ever painted?
Yes, I do acrylic.
Okay, so no, that's the only medium I ever painted. Okay, you know how you have an idea for a painting, and you start out down the road, and even though at the end result you might like, it never looks anything like the thing that you saw in your head at the beginning. That's what an entire creative economy career is. You have ideals in the beginning, but the path of your life is going to shape and alter that and take you down roads that you would never even think of. Dedication and self-sacrifice that a lot of people are not really able to do. It's a hard slog, I will say that. Even under the best of circumstances, it can end up being, like you'll have that breaking point, where you'll come up and like, and here's how you know. The instant you start going, I'm just going to quit, I'm going to go be an airplane mechanic. Just enough, I'm not doing this anymore. That's probably when you're really close to a breakthrough that's going where you want to be going.